Good evening to all the viewers. Today we'll be looking at the Panama Papers. So we'll be seeing the in and out of what Panama Papers really are. And I just want to check if my voice is, I think I'm quite audible. So Karthik, welcome Karthik. Welcome Yamini. Welcome Gloria. So I'll just start with this. There's a company called Mossack Fonseca. So the term Mossack Fonseca refers to the Panama-based law firm that was embroiled in the Panama Papers scandal. So it was founded in 1977, and the firm was headquartered in Panama, and it operated globally in more than 40 countries. Now, the firm employed about 600 people, providing its clients with various legal solutions and trust services. Mossack Fonseca was known to be a low cost creator of shell companies throughout the world. Now, the firm was dissolved in 2018 after documents from the firm were leaked in the Panama Papers scandal of 2016. Now, Mossack Fonseca was founded in 1977 in Panama City by Jorgen Mossack. Ramon Fonseca joined the firm almost 10 years later when he merged his practice with Mossack's. The legal firm operated out of Panama City but also had offices in more than 40 countries. Now, the firm's practice, what all the activities they had, and so that this included trust services, intellectual property, commercial law, international business structures, and investment advisory services. Now, according to a report by the International Consortium of Investigative Journalists, which is the ICIJ, the firm serviced more than 14,000 banks, law firms, and other intermediaries. It helped its clients set up companies, foundations, trusts, and other vehicles. Now, at one point, Mossack Fonseca was among the world's largest providers of offshore financial services. The firm became the subject of widespread controversy in April 2016 when a German publication published evidence of an enormous tax haven clientele that included more than 214,000 entities in 200 countries. Now, according to these leaked documents referred to collectively as Panama Papers, Mossack Fonseca sold shell companies for a fee of as little as $1,000. Yes, you heard that right. In cities across the world. Now, for those of you who don't know what a shell company is, so basically, a shell company is a corporation without active business operations or significant assets. These types of corporations are not at all necessarily illegal, but they are sometimes used illegitimately. They are used to disguise business ownership from law enforcement or the public. Now, coming to what exactly are the Panama Papers? Now, the Panama Papers are 11.5 million leaked documents or 2.6 terabytes of data, which were published beginning on April 3rd, 2016. Now, the paper details financial and attorney client information for more than 214,488 offshore entities. The documents, some dating back to the 1970s, were created by and taken from the former Panamanian offshore law firm, which we know as Mossack Fonseca. Now, the documents contain personal private information about wealthy individuals and public officials that had previously been kept private. So, all the secrecy of wealthy individuals around the world and in different countries, they went public. So, the publication of these documents made it possible to establish the prosecution of a person called Jan Marsalek, who is still a person of interest to a number of European governments due to his revealed links with Russian intelligence and international financial fraudsters David and Jash Basov. While offshore business entities are legal, reporters found that some of the Mossack Fonseca shell corporations were used for illegal purposes, including fraud, tax evasion, and evading international sanctions. Now, that's how this company used to go. And you can see from this data that the number of offshore companies incorporated by Mossack Fonseca by jurisdiction. So you have British Virgin Islands, you have around 113, around 1,13,648 uh, offshore companies. Then you have second comes Panama, then Bahamas, you have Seychelles. Then you have a lot of people in India as well. So in India, there's a lot of people who have parked their money in these so-called shell companies. Now, it's like the documents contain personal information about wealthy individuals and public officials that had previously been kept private. Now, the publication of these documents made it to, so we have gone through that. Now, it was a turning point when John Doe, he was the whistleblower who leaked the documents to German journalist Bastian Obermeier. So, this is John Doe. So he was the whistleblower in leaking these Panama Panama Papers, and he leaked it to this person, like Bastian Obermeier. So who is Bastian Obermeier? So he is from the German newspaper Süddeutsche Zeitung, which is SZ, which remains anonymous even to the journalist who worked on this investigation. Now, my life is in danger. This is what the whistleblower John Doe told them. In May 6, 2016, John Doe cited income inequality as a reason for the action and said the documents were leaked simply because I understood enough about their contents to realize the scale of the injustices they described. Doe had never worked for any government or intelligence agency and expressed willingness to help prosecutors if granted immunity from prosecution. After SZ, which is the German newspaper, verified that the statement did in fact come from the source for the Panama Papers, the International Consortium of Investigative Journalists, which is the ICIJ, posted the full document on its website. Now, SZ asked the ICIJ for help because of the amount of data involved. So, journalists from 107 media organizations in 80 countries, they analyzed the documents detailing the operations of the law firm. Now, after more than a year of analysis, the first news stories were published on April 3rd, 2016, along with 150 of the documents themselves. The project represents an important milestone in the use of data journalism, software tools, and mobile collaboration. Now, these documents were dubbed the Panama Papers because of the country they were leaked from. But the Panama government expressed strong objections to the name over concerns that it would tarnish the government's and country's image worldwide, as did other entities in Panama and elsewhere. Now, some media outlets covering the story have used the name Mossack Fonseca Papers. Now, in October 2020, German authorities issued an international arrest warrant for two founders of the law firm at the core of tax evasion scandal exposed by the Panama Papers. Cologne prosecutors are seeking German-born Jürgen Mossack and Panamanian Ramon Fonseca on charges of accessory to tax evasion and forming a criminal organization. Now, individuals and entities may open offshore accounts for any number of reasons, some of which are legal but ethically questionable. Now, a Canadian lawyer based in Dubai noted, for example, that businesses might wish to avoid falling under the Islamic inheritance jurisprudence if an owner dies. Businesses in some countries may wish to hold some of their funds in dollars also, said a Brazilian lawyer. Estate planning is another example of legal tax avoidance. Now, another interesting point to note is that American filmmaker Stanley Kubrick had an estimated personal worth of $20 million when he died in 1999. Much of it he invested in an 18th century English manor he bought in 1978. He lived in that manor for the rest of his life, filming scenes from The Shining, Full Metal Jacket, and Eyes Wide Shut. These were the names of the films. And three holding companies set up by Mossack Fonseca now, they own the property and are in turn held by trusts set up for his children and grandchildren. Now, since Kubrick was an American living in Britain, Without a trust, his estate would have to pay uh, transfer taxes to both the governments and possibly have been forced to sell the property to obtain the liquid assets to pay them. Now, Kubrick is buried on the grounds along with one of his daughters, and the rest of his family still lives there. Now, the most obvious use of offshore financial centers is to avoid taxes or tax evasion. And this is what the economist added. So now, uh, a lot of people blame tax havens in its 2016 annual report on income inequality for much of the widening gap between the rich and the poor. Now, tax havens are at the core of a global system that allows large corporations and wealthy individuals to avoid paying their fair share. So this is what like many of the people, they want to avoid tax, and that's why they get into this deal. Now, reports note that the law firms many connections to high-ranking political figures and their relatives, as well as celebrities and business figures. Among other things, the leaked documents illustrate how wealthy individuals, including public officials, can keep personal financial information private. Now, initial reports identified five the then heads of state or government leaders from Argentina, Iceland, Saudi Arabia, Ukraine, and the UAE, which is the United Arab Emirates, as well as government officials, close relatives, and close associates of various heads of government of more than 40 other countries. So, names of the current national leaders in the documents include President Khalifa bin Zayed Al Nahyan of the UAE, Petro Poroshenko of Ukraine, King Salman of Saudi Arabia, and the Prime Minister of Iceland, Sigmundur David Gunnlaugsson. And here's a list of India's famous Indian names. So you have like Amitabh Bachchan, you have Aiswarya Rai, you have KP Singh, who is the DLF founder, Sameer Gehlot, who is the India Bulls promoter. You have Harish Salve, you have Jehangir Soli Sorabji, then you have Iqbal Mirchi, who is dead, and then you have Ashok Malhotra and many other names. Like you have Vinod Adani, who is elder brother of businessman Gautam Adani. So you have a lot of names. You have Shishir Bajoria. He is a BJP member, businessman, and West Bengal. So these are prominent Indians named in the Panama Papers. Now, so coming to in India, like you will ask me how is this connected to the Aishwarya Rai ED? She was summoned in ED, right? Now the Panama Papers are back in news in India after the ED questioned Bollywood actress Aishwarya Rai on Monday. Now, among the rich and famous Indians named in the Panama Papers so far are billionaire property baron Kushal Pal Singh. So, you know, Gautam Adani's brother Vinod Adani and Sameer Gehlot. So, it also includes Amitabh Bachchan and daughter in law Aishwarya Rai Bachchan. Now, Aishwarya appeared before the ED on Monday for questioning in connection with the 2016 Panama Papers. Aishwarya Rai joined the ED probe and was, after being summoned twice by the ED, she finally appeared before the ED. Now, since the global leaks of the Panama Papers became public in 2016, the ED has been investigating this case. Now, it later issued notices to Bachchan family members asking them to explain their alleged illegal foreign transactions since 2004. Under the liberalized remittance scheme, which is the LRS of the Reserve Bank of India, it is learned that Rai has also been questioned on her foreign travel since Panama Papers records show she, along with family members, attended a meeting of the board of directors of a British Virgin Islands company. The company's name is Amic Partners Limited in Dubai in June 2005, the year the company was incorporated. She is also being questioned on a large deposit made to a foreign bank account of her husband Abhishek Bachchan using the liberalized remittance scheme, which is the LRS. Now, it is understood that Rai has denied any knowledge of the BVI company and told ED investigators that it was her father, late Krishna Raj Rai, who handled all her financial matters. Now, significantly, officials said that a key document of the EMIC Partners Limited, published by the media as part of the 2016 Panama Papers, exposed now has been independently obtained and verified by them from authorities in BVI. Now, incidentally, documents of AMIC Partners Limited included those of its certificate of incumbency, company resolutions, and minutes of its board of directors meeting. Now, the minutes are signed by Aiswarya Rai and her other family members. The minutes also revealed that the Dubai branch of ABN Amro Bank would be appointed as investment managers for Aishwarya Rai's family's offshore entity. Now, according to a report, over 500 Indians are associated with the Mossack Fonseca firm, and the ED has seized over 230 Indian passports that were deposited as part of the company's formalities. So you have many other names, like among many names listed in the Panama Papers are Bollywood celebrities like Amitabh Bachchan, Aishwarya Rai, and Ajay Devgan. Now, so it's like Amitabh Bachchan, according to leaked papers, Amitabh Bachchan was a director of four shipping firms set up in the British Virgin Islands and the Bahamas. The authorized capital of these companies ranged between $5,000 and $50,000, but they traded in ships worth millions of dollars. So can you imagine, like, the authorized capital is only between $5,000 and $50,000, but they traded in ships worth millions of dollars. So what's the logic? How did they have so much of money? Now, actor Ajay Devgan's name featured in the Panama Papers leak as the largest shareholder of Marine Bone Entertainment Limited, located in the British Virginia Islands. Now, as of October 2013, the firm's original shareholder was London-based Hassan N. Sayani. Now, Devgan allegedly bought the entire shareholding on the same day and later said that the company was legally established in accordance with the RBI guidelines. Now, there's KP Singh. He is the founder of Delhi-based DLF, which is India's largest real estate developer. He reportedly acquired a company registered in British Virgin Islands in 2010, along with his wife. At least two more companies were set up in 2012 by his son Rajiv Singh and daughter Pia Singh. The family's three offshore entities together hold almost $10 million. Now, coming to Samir Gehlot, the owner of real estate firm India Bulls, he bought three properties in London through family firms registered in Kurnool, Delhi, Bahamas, Jersey, and the UK. Now, the transactions involved a complex networks of companies all heading to the SG Family Trust, owned by Sumita Singh, a former MLA and Haryana Mahila Congress head, and her husband Jagdeep Singh Virk. Now, others included in the list are Shiv Vikram Khemka, SUN Group, which is the Sun Group patriarch Nandlal Khemka's son, Jihangir Sorabji, son of former Attorney General Soli Sorabji, Anurag Kejriwal, he is the former Delhi Lok Satta party leader, Naveen Mehra of Mehra Son Jewelers, Hajra Iqbal Memon, which is the underworld Don Iqbal Mirchi's wife. So you see that it's a huge web of rich individuals. They are setting up offshore companies to evade tax. So this is this has been there long. And friends, I would like to suggest you to see this movie. It's called The Laundromat. Now, The Laundromat is based on the book Secrecy World, and it is about the Panama Papers scandal. And it is based, this book is written by Pulitzer Prize-winning author Jake Bernstein. So you should see this movie and you'll get a hang of what exactly the Panama Papers are like. And it's a very interesting film. I think you can see this on Netflix, if I'm correct. So yeah, there are a lot of names, and I'm just seeing what people are saying. Yeah, today it's preponed because we have a business meeting. Yeah, Panama is in the news for the wrong reasons. Absolutely, Karthik. Is John Doe a false name given to protect him? It could be like you have this journalist who apparently leaked this very 11.5 million documents to the German newspaper. And it could be, it's a possibility, but we don't know. All these countries like Bahamas, Seychelles, Panama probably are tax havens which these people use to cover their shady dealing. So yeah, it's like all these nefarious activities are sort of set up in shell companies. So they'll disguise the nature of the business. That's why shell companies are set up. Hi, Anandi, how are you? Long time. She will simply deny that Aishwarya Rai is not her and she will go scot free. Are you talking about Jaya Bachchan, Vardhan? Okay, so coming to Jaya Bachchan, now, I mean, naturally, like when Panama Papers clearly names Amitabh Bachchan and Aishwarya Rai, and now Aishwarya Rai is being summoned by the ED. So Jaya Bachchan will, she'll feel restless, right? So in Rajya Sabha, she did not pull any punches, most of which she directed at the treasury benches and even accused the chair of not listening to the opposition. Now, Jaya Bachchan lost her cool in Rajya Sabha after a personal remark by a member while she was participating in a discussion on the bill on narcotic drugs. She did not pull any punches, most of which were directed at the treasury benches, and even accused the chair of not listening to the opposition or protecting the opposition members. We want justice. We don't expect justice from the treasury benches, but can we expect it from you? How are you protecting the members of this house or the 12 members sitting outside? How are you protecting them? This is what Taliwali Mami said. So, when the chairman pointed out that she was not speaking on the narcotic bill and it looked like you're not interested in the bill, so Jaya said, "It is my turn to speak. We have given 3 to 4 hours to discuss a clerical error." Now, as members from around loudly protested, she said, "What is going on? This is terrible." So, like, "Aap logo ke bure din aayege." So she cursed, "Your bad days is about to come." When BJP MP Rakesh Sinha raised the point of order, accusing her of targeting the chair, so Ms. Bachchan, she demanded that the chair take action against the member and accusing them of making personal remarks against her. Now, the chair, however, announced that the remarks which were not suitable would be expunged from the record. Now, if you have the intention to fight, this is not the house. I'm very sorry, I'm calling the next speaker. How can they make personal remarks in this house? This is so sad. This is what she is saying, that you people don't have enough sense or honor for the colleague sitting outside. आप लोगों के बुरे दिन बहुत जल्दी आएगा. I curse you. As the situation almost, spun out of control, I don't want to make any personal comment on anyone. What happened was very unfortunate, and they should not have spoken the way they did. Now, Jugal Lokandwala, he is one of the Treasury bench MPs who apparently made the personal remark that, made her mad. Like, so this is kind of, like Taliwali Mami is sort of having, like a lot of things are happening. Like, now she's, people question her regarding the narcotics and Bollywood as to what's happening. And now the Panama Papers have surfaced with the ED pursuing it. So a lot of things are happening. And now, just a few hours back, Enforcement Directorate arrest ex-Unitech promoters Sanjay and Ajay Chandra. So now the Enforcement Directorate has arrested jailed ex-promoter brothers of the Unitech Realty Group, Sanjay Chandra and Ajay Chandra, in a money laundering case being investigated against them. They said brothers were taken into custody on Monday and have been brought to Delhi from Mumbai. where they were lodged in separate jails in an alleged cheating case filed by the Delhi police. Now, the action came after the Supreme Court earlier this month allowed the anti money laundering agency's plea for a fresh custodial interrogation of the duo, saying it has obtained new evidence against them and it needs to confront them with those documents. The agency had earlier informed the Supreme Court that the brothers were conducting business from Tihar jail premises in connivance with the prison staff when they were lodged there. It has made a startling revelation that its officials unearthed a secret underground office in the jail, which was being operated by Unitic founder Ramesh Chandra and visited by his sons Sanjay and Ajay when on parole or bail. Now, the apex court followed this disclosure by the ED, asked authorities to shift the brothers in two separate prisons in Mumbai, Arthur Road Jail and Taloja Jail. The ED, which has been investigating money laundering charges against them and their realty firm Unitech Limited, said in its report that both Sanjay and Ajay have rendered the entire judicial custody meaningless as they have been freely communicating, instructing their officials, and disposing of properties from inside the Tihar jail in connivance with the prison staff. The brothers are in jail since August 2017 and accused of allegedly siphoning home buyers' money. Now, the ED filed a criminal case under various sections of the PMLA early this year against Unitic Group and its promoters over allegations that the Chandra brothers illegally diverted over rupees 2,000 crores of depositors' funds to Cyprus and the Cayman Islands. So, a lot of things, in fact, folks like, ED has been actively pursuing a lot of these people, and it's finally good to see that the rich and powerful people are not being spared. It gives us some hope as a common man. So I'll just read the comments. We should have called Kejo in the house to shoot it. He could have saved some reels for his new film. So you're talking about a version of the laundromat in Hindi. That could happen, Karthik. They know the inside out of how it works. Thanks, Drew. I will curse you. I will curse you. Yes, Yamini. That's what Jaya Bachchan said. And now, she's still, she doesn't know what to do. That, the country, the ED, I mean, NCB is going after drugs connection with Bollywood. And now ED is going after the money laundering links with Bollywood, etc. Karthik, look at the list. So shameful. Exactly, Karthik. Like, that's how it works. Like, we don't know who's powerful and how they got their money from. As long as the judiciary and law enforcement agencies are weak, these people will go scot free. Yeah, I mean, like a lot of things, you know, a lot of these powerful individuals, they know where the loopholes are there in the Indian law, and they will consult, maybe consult their lawyers as to where the loopholes are in the Indian law and exploit that loophole and, do these kind of businesses. We are the only people paying taxes honestly. All these people are just plain frauds. Yeah, I mean, like Karthik, the funny thing is, even a honest person, if he has spent over a considerable amount of money, then he has to explain from where he got the money, etc., to the income tax people. But a rich person, there's no sort of scrutiny. Like, Yes, Yamini, she's busy today and she'll be back tomorrow. Drew, I think she just wants to avoid a topic about narcotics bill. Yeah, so if she wants to avoid talking about narcotics or avoid talking about ED. So yeah, that's all the news for today and good night.